When we're going through these cycles, whether we're going through them at a personal level, individually, one on one, or we are involved in cycles that are being orchestrated by the systems at work. The reason being that these systems are able to orchestrate the cycle is because, at a personal level, inside of us, we're continually going through cycles, right? And what's within, we're going to reflect it without. So the same way we go through cycles and we repeat cycles, and these cycles sometimes they create chaos, they create blockages for us, they allow us to engage with our shadow self and just overindulge in things like that and put a pause on our growth. The same way that the systems at play would have these cycles that would do the same thing, right? So the if I say this because if it wouldn't exist within, it wouldn't exist without. Now, because there's a large amount of people who are awakening to their higher consciousness, to their power, to seeking truth, to speaking truth, to understanding that the the kingdom of God is within, right? And all we have to do is do the healing work to awaken that side of us, because we are co-creators with the universe. We are a percentage of God having a human experience, a spark of God, and we are all powerful, right? And so we're awakening to this truth, and this is not convenient for the powers at work to have so many of us awakening and spreading truth and being out in nature and learning that we create heaven on earth for ourselves and that we create hell on earth for ourselves depending on our consciousness, right? And so us speaking this truth is a problem to the powers at work, because they want to keep these systems that have been put in place for ages to keep humanity in a slumber and fear, all that stuff. So us being up here speaking truth and being in bliss, which is our birthright, being abundant, focusing on the things that actually matter, like saving our souls. It's a problem, right? Because it disrupts their systems and they won't be able to continue to you know keep the systems going that they have kept going for a long time. So they need to put an end to it. And so they do this all the time. If we go back in history, we're going to see that usually when something great is about to happen, something meaningful is about to happen, we get hit with the plagues, we get hit with the war, we get hit with the pandemics, we get hit with the government shutting down. This is just how it is. Go back in history and check what happened during World War One, World War Two, in the 1919. Just go back into the meaningful times and see that during these times, the same thing would happen over and over again. Like, it's the same steps: war, pandemic, plague, some type of illness. Same stuff, right? And so our awareness to these things takes the fear out of it, right? Specifically for those of us who have done the Kundalini awakening process, and we've gone through like spiritual warfare when it comes to the dark arts, where people are sending diseases to us and all types of things. And now we understand that we are the cause and effect to whatever it is that come our way, and that the way to deal with it is by pure love, like self-love, self-care, going within. And so, if indeed, which we will, we will have to go through this, because this is just how the systems are, right? They're going to force us into a cycle, to go back into a cycle, to repeat a cycle, right? And so this is where our free will plays out. And although it's not happening right now at this moment, it is to come, right? And we see the lineup happening. We see the lineup happening for it, right? I guess what I'm trying to say is that we can use this time, that time that is to come, to reflect, right? I remember that during the pandemic, in the beginning of it, I was, very engaging with my shadow side. But then, like, at the middle of 2020, like by fall of 2020, I started going into recovery and I started to go to meetings and do step work. And a lot of the knowledge that I have today were seeds that were planted back then, right? So just again, bringing about awareness. The point is that when these cycles repeat and they are inflicted upon us, is the same way that when we fail to learn the lessons from our own personal experiences, where we continue to repeat certain cycles and we don't get the lesson and we stop our forward movement. We sometimes forget the lessons that we have learned and we have to start over again. And so what that does is that delays us a lot, right? That brings us back a lot. And sometimes we get put back into our shadow self where we are operating from our shadow side, where we're repeating the same cycles, repeating the same patterns, self-destructing little by little, right? And so the ones that benefit from that are the powers that are in place right now, because so many are awakening, because so much truth is being revealed. Our attention, which is our currency, it's being squandered all over the place because there's so much, right? We have this virus that's happening, we have the war that's happening, we have the government shutting down all the, like, over and over and over again, here and there, things, gas prices are this high, right? So we're like just squander, right? And then we had the e-files that were released a couple months ago, and so then after that all these other things were released, so the attention of the e-files would be taken away from the e-files and be put into these other things. These are things that are done strategically. And now what we have control over is ourselves, right? And these entities, these unclean spirits that are operating the powers at work, they need humanity to be in a state of fear, hurt, in shambles, searching, just seeking outside of themselves, seeking. And the path is shown that this is what they want, this is what they're doing. And so once we're aware of it, we can act accordingly.